And the temperatures, well, they've been hot throughout. South Africa versus Scotland coming up. These teams have only met once before in Rugby World Cup. South Africa won on that occasion 19 points to 14. Indeed, in the IRB Sevens World Circuit, they've played 27 times. South Africa have won 24, lost 2, drawn 1. Well, Paul True, the coach to South Africa, starts Cecil Africa and Cheslin Colby in the backs for the first time. Chris Dry, Kyle Brown and Stefan Dippenaar are the hard-working forwards. However, it's on the bench where South Africa have bundles of pace. Scotland have given a start to Mark Robertson, who plays in the midfield for Scotland. Alex Glashan has featured well at scrum half. And if Scotland are to upset the odds when Andrew Turnbull, well, he'll just have to play at his very, very best. And there on the left of your picture is Kyle Brown, who returns to action, the captain this South African side, having broken an ankle away back in December in the IRB Sevens in Dubai. Colin Gregor, Scotland's most experienced player, leads his Scotland team out, and there is Andrew Turnbull. Now Turnbull, well, as you see, a Scotland draw knocks Fiji out the cup. A Scotland win, let's just reiterate, a Scotland win knocks South Africa out the cup. So lots to play for, and inspirational and final words from Colin Gregor, the Scotland skipper. Well, Ben Gollins alongside me. Ben, we were just talking in the build-up to this game, it's the pace. Andrew Turnbull is Scotland's flying machine, but you look at South Africa, they've got pace right across this whole squad.
Yeah, certainly this tournament they've been a well-balanced side, and Paul True has used his squad wisely, and that's why we see a slightly different lineup to the first couple of games. You've got South Africa getting a start, but the key is they've been using that pace and they've been scoring some quality tries. For Scotland, they've got to defend well, they've got to make sure they get their one-on-one tackles and try and squeeze South Africa in this game.
7 minutes each way. Colin Gregor with the high hanging restart. Mark Robertson was right up there, but Cecil Africa, and straight away South Africa on the attack. This is pace right from the start, and what about this from a riposte? Sampi Maastricht in for the try, out sprints, and what a hammer blow for the Scots. But we did mention it is all about pace in this South African team, and they have shown it in abundance throughout this performance.
Yeah, you see South Africa with the vision. He knows he's got Sampi Maastricht outside him, who can go the length, and he's proved it right here. Colin Gregor gives great chase, and unfortunately he's just a couple of strides too slow in this occasion.
What he has done is he's forced Maastricht out onto the wing, so the conversion to come from South Africa is from out wide. And this attempt will be through Cheslin Colby, who's playing in the Rugby World Championship out in France. And then off the upright. Sometimes in this game, small margins can be the difference between success and failure. And for Scotland, it's all about the points on the board, and can they claw back that opening try as Mark Robertson looks on.
Yeah, after a start like that South Africa have just had, Scotland here, they've really got to get up and claim this ball now and try and keep ball.
Possession being absolutely key in the Sevens game. Another high hanging start, this time from South Africa. Scott Riddell takes the ball. Didn't quite hear what referee Anthony Moyes said to the players over the referee mic there.
I think it looked like an accidental offside, running into his own man.
Cheslin Colby then. Brackenfell school player, debut for South Africans in Glasgow in 2012. So what can be set up here? Sampri just back in, and Scotland under the cosh here. Stefan Dippenaar fed ball, that was Cecil Africa. This is out to Cheslin Colby. Colby to Chris Dry. Dry, the inspirational skipper for South Africa, and just toying with a Scotland defence. Scotland playing 6 up, slight defence here. It's all about possession, but finally Scotland, well, I was just about to say Alex Glashan had hands on the ball, super feet, and stepped by Cheslin Colby, and Colby finds the space on the outside. Cecil Africa ducks the ball down for another hammer blow. And really, as South Africa pile on the pressure, Scotland's hopes slip away of qualification through to the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup Sevens.
It was really nice to see a team like South Africa not going into contact, using the full width of this field and utilising the pace and the steppers in their side. And you saw Cheslin Kolbe taking defenders out, sucking them in, find Cecil Africa with the pace out wide. That's a hard passage of play for Scotland. They didn't do too much wrong, it's just too much firepower at the moment.
Well, Cheslin Kolbe, he hit the upright on the first conversion from the try scored by Sampi Mastri. This one is successful. South Africa are out into a 12-0 lead. And just to give you an indication of how hard Scotland's task is going to be, South Africa in their two previous ties beat Russia by 31-0, and they beat Japan by 33-0. They have not conceded a single point in this campaign so far.
No, well, they've been, as we said, an outstanding outfit, and really shown why they finished as high as they did in the World Series this year, and with the form, and they've brought that here into the World Cup.
Scotland through Mike Fado. Well, he seemed to get one in the eye as he tried to stride away up there. Colin Shaw down the middle. Shaw attracts the attention of the tackler of Reno Benjamin. Benjamin in defence. This is Colin Gregor. Scotland probing down that blind side. This is Shaw. Shaw tackled by Chris Try up to the halfway line. Scotland's first foray into South African territory. Michael Fado, the graduate from Northumbria University, took the ball into contact, but look how quickly Chris Try takes the quick tap and go.
A good strength there from Carl Brown on the turnover. Scotland just getting themselves isolated at the moment.
Robertson was up on the tackle. So it was a first knock on actually from a Scotsman. Sampi Mastri takes his place back on the wing. Now Mastri, who was brought back into this particular team. Usually we see, well, Carl Brown sort of went a little bit high. It was maybe a bit below the eye line. Cheslin Kolbe, Africa. Well, he was there in support. Fumbled ball though from South Africa. Just a little bit of fluency being lost here from South Africa through Reno Benjamin.
Yeah, just snap to that one. Cheslin Kolbe's footwork is absolutely outstanding at the moment. He really is causing problems for the Scottish defenders.
Well, Andrew Turnbull, he is the equal third highest try scorer in Rugby World Cup Sevens of all time. Tied with Brian Lehman with Sally Serevi above him, and Marika Vanibaka from Fiji. Funibaka, I should say, my apologies. Back to the action then. Scotland go deep, but illegally played on the ground by South Africa. The quick tap and goal by Turnbull. This is Gregor. Gregor well scragged in the tackle by Stefan Dippenaar. Turnbull, well, there's a little bit more space out wide, but you can see Scotland are just getting sucked in to the contact, and Carl Brown just moves ball straight away to Cecil Africa, and Africa in for South Africa's third try.
Yeah, South Africa just not allowing Scotland to get any continuity with the ball. They're taking it in ones, and it's allowing the South Africans to poach. And you see that Carl Brown is very strong over the ball, and it just pops out here, and he knows he's got South Africa on his outside with plenty of room. It's an easy run-in for South Africa, but the hard work's been done before that.
And of course, ball retention is so crucial in seven-a-side rugby, and if you're losing it in the contact area as well, the simplicity of just moving the ball away from contact allows the space out wide. Well, Cheslin Kolbe had one from this distance earlier on, hit the upright. This one just skews away. Half-time, well, South Africa are 17 points in the lead over Scotland. And very much a convincing performance by Paul True's young side.
Right, you guys now will have to go for another minute or two. And then we can bring on Philip. Now we're going to bring you guys on, right? Philip, how's that going on?
Yeah, good.
You're still good to be momentum come over. You feel it. Defense, guys, is awesome. We had numbers in the
Well,
highlights
one
right
thing
now.
with ball, we look dangerous.
It's got to play off two passes.
The even call as well. If we've got even numbers, let's call even. So we can keep coming up. We're still sitting off.
Stay on the train on the inside.
Hands on ball. Nothing to lose here.
Keep possession. 7 in here, 7 in. Go away, come on. Boy.
Stay on the train on the inside. Don't fold too early. Well, Ben Gullins, I hope you've got your lexicon in front of you, because tell us what's that about for Scotland?
Well, I think Scotland, they're just over chasing at times. They're allowing the South Africans to utilise their steps. The best way to defend them is actually hold a yard off and just shelter them out to the outside. Don't let them come back on weak shoulders.
And Paul True, just nice confident words there. A coach who seems to be very much in harmony with his team, and undoubtedly.
Well, the beauty he's got at the moment is he's able to use the full 12, and so he's just said to a few of the guys now starting this second half, give me another minute, run hard, and then we've got the fresh legs coming on, and everybody's getting a quality amount of game time in this early stages before they go into the knockout rounds tomorrow.
Well, so far South Africa has scored 81 points. They haven't conceded any. They'll want to keep a blank sheet against Scotland. Scotland, of course, can still qualify by tying this game, but they're going to have to score points themselves, and at this rate, well, they've hardly had their paws on the rugby ball. They've really been put under the cosh by this strong South African team, and Chris Dry, up he goes. Cheslin Kolbe, well, the footwork once again, and how good was that from Cheslin Kolbe? This guy is the new superstar of South African Sevens rugby. He is absolutely lightning.
It all comes from the line out. Interesting tactic from South Africa. You don't see it very often, the old two-man line out. But as Cheslin Kolbe gets ball in hand, he's got runners off him that are attracting the defenders away from him, and it's a simple dummy step and go for this guy, and he's got the pace to burn to finish it off.
Yeah, the dummy, the show and go. Despite Colin Gregor's attempts to get near the youngster, and Cheslin Kolbe, well, he has caught the eye, hasn't he? Called into the Junior World Cup squad. They played in the semi-final and lost to Wales in that semi-final by 1 point. Well, chasing a medal here in the Rugby World Cup Sevens would be certainly a dream for this youngster. The additional 2 points was successful. Cheslin Kolbe then on the restart. Philip Schneemann there wearing the number 2 jersey. He's come off the bench, putting pressure on Colin Gregor there, bundling Scott Riddell down onto this pitch that's held up well. This is young Chris Dean. Riddle, this is Shaw into the contact areas. Well, it was Mark Robertson who took it in. Well, he had to release the ball to play the ball, and didn't get up on his feet. So Mark Robertson, and again, just another indication. South Africa swamping that contact area.
Yeah, they are. I think Colin Gregor, got an opportunity earlier on to move it away from the first ruck. They're just getting stuck, and they're having to step back inside because of the pace of the defence from the South Africans.
We'll talk about pace. Here's another try from the little maestro himself, Cheslin Kolbe. Did he get downward pressure? Need downward pressure, of course. He just needs contact with the ball to the ground. Yes, it is, says Anthony Moyes. But look at this. Shapes for the big pass. Drift defence goes on outside him. You talked about trying to keep South Africans or Scotsmen on the inside to push on the outside, but Scotland guilty of slipping one out.
They've got to defend the ball. Don't worry about any problems out wide until the ball's out there. And you can see South Africa are very good at using dummy runners and options off Cheslin Kolbe that are opening up these gaps and just taking the eye of the defender off him. You cannot afford to slip off him because his step is quality.
31 points to 0. That was the score that they beat Russia. They beat Japan 33-0. South Africa in utter control in days 1 and 2 of the Rugby World Cup Sevens. Watch out, all the other international teams. This has been a mightily impressive performance by Paul True's side.
And it's coming from the sustained amount of pressure that they're putting Scotland under at the moment. Even off the kickoff, Scotland aren't able to retain that possession. We hear now South Africa ball off the scrum.
Well, there's no substitute to play in the game, and a Springbok Sevens training squad won the Roma Sevens last month, beating Helentide in the final by 59 points to 5. Carl Brown was captain on that day. Reno Benjamin played. Sitole, he was also in that winning team, and the sharpness that this South African team have brought to the World Cup has been very impressive.
Yeah, I think Paul True was finding towards the end of the World Series his best squad, but I think he's found it here. He's added some extra firepower with the likes of Cheslin Colby and Sibuso Sitole, and then you've got the likes of Rhino Benjamin coming back in, who's played plenty of sevens.
Well, what about this guy? Look at this, he makes it look so easy. Very impressive. Gets the support of Cecil Africa, and a hat-trick in 14 minutes of rugby is very, very impressive from the youngster.
You can see here they're just using him as the go-to. Everything at the moment is playing through Cheslin Colby, and right now he doesn't really need anybody else's help because he can score them all by himself.
Well, there used to be a young man who's standing beside me, and Ben Gollins, you could tell us all that when you're young, when you're fit, when you're feeling this good on a Sevens rugby park, really it's just so easy, is it not?
Yeah, well, you can look at South Africa at the moment. That the conditions are hot out there, but they're not even sweating. I mean, it's not because of any fault of the Scottish at this stage. They haven't had a chance with the ball in hand. It's just the quality of the South African attack. When it works well, it works well.
Well, we've seen some great tries, and wherever you are watching around the world, let us know what your favourite action is on hashtag RWC7s. That's 7S. Scotland have hardly penetrated this South African defence. Jim Thompson takes it. Andrew Turnbull, we've hardly mentioned his name. And in the contact areas, Michael Maltman goes into the contact. This is the support plate of Struan Dewar.
You can see Scotland here at the moment. They haven't got outside the 15-metre line and used the width of the field. You don't want the likes of Andrew Turnbull in these small areas. Get him out wide and let him utilise his feet.
James Johnson, he's taken, and again it's almost suffocating the South African defence on the blue jerseys of Scotland. Maltman takes the ball away. Turnbull has to run down the tight channels that Ben Gollins was talking about, but stolen ball by Philip Schneeman and Cecil Africa. Now there's a huge overlap there. Cheslin Colby, brilliant individual skill with a pop pass out wide, and Maestri in for his second try, and South Africa tearing Scotland apart.
We see for Scotland at the moment, they're having to throw in 3 or 4 players into a ruck, and as soon as there's a turnover, it's 2 or 3 passes wide, and it ends up in the hands of this guy here, Maestri, who's not gonna miss with the pace he's got.
Yeah, Sampe Maestri in for his second try of the tie. Well, that's the final whistle there. Cheslin Colby surprisingly misses the conversion. Job done for South Africa. It has been a demolition job. It has been a real powerful performance, one of guile, one of physicality, but more importantly, one of outstanding pace in the game. Scotland dispatched by 41 points to 0.